This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
Here's a good example. There's a little church in Honduras that our group went and rescued. It was in a little town called La Masica. And La Masica, this church building it was a beautiful location and a nice big building. It was in some disrepair, but it was still in good shape. And the ministry there had died. There was just nothing happening. There was like 12 children showed up on Sunday morning, and a lady taught them a Sunday school lesson. And that was it. That was the extended ministry of the church. One mission trip. It was one mission. I don't know why God just seemed to lay this on our heart to give us one mission trip. The task seemed so daunting, but it's just like God said, take 1 week, and we'll focus for 1 week on La Masica and see what happens. And we went into La Masica, and some of you were on that trip, and we went in and we worked at this place, and we did so much physical work and the building on the plant itself. And then at night we would have services, and we would preach. And we would preach every night, and every night, and the people of the town, some of the men started working with us. And that was pretty cool to watch, because some of you were working alongside with men that you couldn't communicate with. But yet you somehow or other, you began to build the ministry, and the work began to develop. And as we worked, and we were there for really only 1 week, and while we were there at night, we'd preach, and we'd have a service, and it was just a regular service. And by the last night that we were there, and that building, that auditorium, by the way, was probably maybe a third the size of this room, I'm guessing, maybe a little bigger. It was a pretty good sized building. By the last night that we were there, the whole building was completely filled with people, and they were going to people's homes and bringing chairs and setting them up outside, and people were sitting outside around the building to hear the gospel, and lives were being changed and souls were being saved. And that week we found a pastor for the church. It was a man that was living in the town who said, well, I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'll pastor it. He just felt like God was leading. He wasn't even a Baptist. You can't do that. You can't let some guy who's not a Baptist pastor a Baptist church, can you? We did. And they started and they continued services every night for almost an entire year until they had some major storms that came in and it affected. But every night they had services in that building. God was doing an amazing work. And then some other teams came in and they finished the work, the building itself. They finished the physical plant itself. We didn't finish it, we started it. We had that little small part. We looked at the big picture and said, we don't know if we can get this done. But it wasn't our job to get it done. Our job was just to work on that little part. And God provided the means and finished the work. This is what God is saying. God is saying, look, you don't have the means. You're in the ministry of the impossible. That's all you're expected to do, is to do the impossible. That's all. But you do it where I tell you, when I tell you, and with the means that I provide. And so Jesus says, look, here's the deal, guys. You have the responsibility, but I have the means. And so here's how we're going to do it. And the results, well, it's in verse 19. He gave them loaves and fish to the disciples. He gave those loaves and fish to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. Just that simple. Just that simple. God's way of doing things. And it is a very important teaching, by the way, in that you give what He gives to you. You give what He gives to you.